Hi everybody, I'm Gwen. Welcome to At Home with Gigi. Who's ready for some fall DIYs? This is going to be my first fall DIY for this season and I am so excited to share it with you. Today's video is also part of the Napkin Challenge collaboration hosted by Sarah at Sunflowers and DIYing, and I'll tell you more about that in just a bit. Now let's get started. For the first part of this project, we're going to be using this wooden pumpkin from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick coat of Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster. Now after my paint has dried, I'm going to go in and put down a layer of Mod Podge and let that dry before we add our napkin. This month we're crafting our stash, and I'm going to be using this beautiful leopard print napkin that came from Hobby Lobby. Now most of your napkins are going to be 2 and 3 ply, so you do want to make sure you remove those before you Mod Podge or a decoupage your napkin to your surface. And I am taping it because I want to keep it in place because I want a very clean, crisp line across the stem of my pumpkin. If you haven't guessed by now, we're using the iron-on method to attach the napkin, and this is my absolute favorite way to decoupage. And you're just running your iron on low temperature over the surface of your napkin, and I placed a sheet of wax paper, I believe it is, just for protecting my napkin, and the heat reactivates that Mod Podge, and see what a beautiful, pretty much wrinkle-free surface you have. And I just used my little finger sander to remove the excess napkin. For the next part of our project, we're going to be using these 2 little pumpkins. They were part of a garland, and I've gone ahead and filled in the holes at the top with some spackling. Let that dry, and then we're going to give them a coat of the Waverly chalk paint in white. For the shorter pumpkin, we're going to attach this piece of scrapbook paper that came from Hobby Lobby, and I've had this forever in my stash, and I think it is so beautiful. It just reminds me of kind of a shabby chic look, and I thought it would just go perfect with this project. Now I'm trying to remove as much of this excess paper as possible because I didn't really want to have to do a lot of sanding because of the texture of this scrapbook paper. I was afraid it might start either tear or start to fray on me, and it did fray just a little bit, but with trimming it off with some little tiny scissors and with some Mod Podge, I just went around and it did stop the fraying. We're going to add this little blessed word to the front of the pumpkin, and this came from Dollar Tree. You can get them in a pack of, I think it's like 6, usually during the fall season, and I've just given it a coat of Waverly chalk paint and truffle. And for our third pumpkin, we're going to paint it. And as you can see, I have a variety of paints there on my plate. I've just kind of mixed together pumpkin from Waverly chalk paint, burnt umber, and bright red from apple barrel, and then I mixed in with that a little bit of Waverly chalk paint and just kind of mixed it all together until I got the color that I was looking for. As I said earlier, this video is part of the Napkin Exchange challenge, and Sarah from Sunflowers and DIYing, she's so awesome, guys. She hosts this collaboration every single month, and usually we exchange napkins, but this month we're just crafting from our stash. So I will link her channel along with the playlist down in the description box and pin it to the first comment. So please make sure you go and check out everybody else's videos after you finish watching mine and tell them hello and that I sent you. If you hear from the playlist, a great big welcome to you. Thank you so much for stopping by. We're going to use this long sign. Oh gosh, what is this thing? Anyway, you know, you get them from Dollar Tree. They have them for every season. And we're going to give it 2 coats of ink from Waverly chalk paint. And we're going to be using this as our stand for the 3 pumpkins. After it had dried, I went back in with a chipping brush and just using some of the leftover paint from the pumpkin and just kind of dry brushed back and forth just to lighten it up a little bit and give it more of a little bit of a rustic, distressed look. We're going to use these little wooden blocks from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue them to the back of each of the pumpkins just to give it more support and to help it stand up on this base. Y'all, I just realized I did not show you the part of wrapping the twine around the pumpkin stem. Sorry about that. I'm using hot glue to attach my pumpkins, but you may want to use something that has a little bit more of a permanent hold, like E6000 or Gorilla Gel Glue. That's my favorite. It doesn't smell so bad, but because I'm trying to rush and get this video done, I'm using hot glue because it sets up so much faster. I'm adding in just a little bit of extra hot glue beside each of the tumbling blocks just for some extra security. We're just going to make a simple little bow. We've just folded the ribbon over like you're making an awareness ribbon, and then I'm going to do the same for the one with the pumpkins on it. And I believe both of these came from the Dollar Tree. Not quite sure about the little pumpkin ribbon, but I think it is just absolutely adorable. And I'm just making sure I get my loops somewhat even because I'm terrible about not getting my loops even. And then I'm just going to tie it off in the center with the pipe cleaner. I've gone ahead and made a couple of other little shoestring bows for the other two pumpkins. And isn't this little leopard print ribbon adorable? That came from Amazon. I've had that for quite a while. And then I made a little bow out of some more twine. And then I'm just adding them all with some hot glue. And then I'm just going to pop in this little flower in the center to cover up that pipe cleaner. Now you could stop right here if you wanted to, and I almost did, but I got to looking at it. I'm like, you know, the base of this just looks so plain, so I decided to add in just a little bit of Spanish moss, and I'm just putting down a layer of hot glue and adding in the Spanish moss, and then, you know, that led to it needed another little pumpkin or some little flowers or something, so I just continued on. But like I said, you could have just stopped after you added the 3 pumpkins and the bows, but I wanted to just add just a little bit more. You know, more is always more when you're crafting, right? I'm just going to pop in a few little embellishments and make it look all pretty on top of the moss. And this foam pumpkin was left over from a project last year, and I just removed that plastic stem, broke off a stick from outside and popped that in there, a little tiny leaf and a little more of the moss, and then we're just going to hot glue that on front and add in some of these pine cones and acorns and some of those really cute little yellow wildflowers. And I think it is just absolutely perfect. I love it. Y'all, I am really getting ready to decorate for fall. Is anybody else getting ready to decorate for fall? I think this is going to be such a great piece to add to my fall decor this year. And y'all excuse my tabletop. It's a rescue piece and I have not had the time to refinish it. I've been meaning to do it for a very long time. But anyway, I love how this turned out. Thank y'all so much for being here today. Thank you, Sarah, for hosting this awesome challenge and collaboration. Guys, don't forget to go check out the playlist, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.